So what I wanted to share is this practice of Ho-Oponopono. And you can kind of see how it's spelled if you can see that book okay. And so this is a practice of forgiveness. And this practice comes to us from the kahuna of Hawaii, who are kind of the shamans of Hawaii. But they say that the history of it might trace back even further back in history to perhaps Atlantis or even Lemuria. And so it's a very powerful practice, and it's a very simple practice. And I wanted to share it for its simplicity. And you can go really deep into it. You can read the whole book. I'm just going to share kind of my perception of it and the bits of it that really helped me. And maybe you can take that out into your day. It's a way to connect with other people. And it's also a way to connect with yourself. And it's wonderful for clearing and getting rid of any programming, any old data within you that puts limits on you. The idea is to clear all that out, forgiving yourself first, forgiving all of those who you may have perceived as harming you, and bringing yourself to kind of a 0 point where you are in neutrality and you are able to approach relationships at that point in a whole new way from a neutral space. And at that point, people get in disagreements and they say, love is lost, and they don't talk for years. And this is a practice that you don't actually take this practice and, do it to another person or with another person. It's all internal. It's a practice within, and you're basically sending out love, sending out healing, sending out forgiveness to any situations in your life without actually bringing that person in front of you. You're just kind of doing it energetically, and it's amazing how it really, really works. So this practice was brought more to attention over the last, I would say, several decades. There was a gentleman, a doctor named Hugh Len, and he went to work. He's a clinical psychologist, and he went to work at a mental hospital in Hawaii. And the prisoners at this place were some of the most dangerous people. A lot of them were shackled, rapists, murderers, all the bad crimes. And, he came there because it was kind of like a point of last resort. They couldn't even keep psychologists there. And so he came there and he started this practice, and he did not do this directly with the patients. He would sit in his office and practice over the files and send the healing that way. And within 6 months, they started kind of unshackling the patients. And within 4 years, they ended up releasing all the people in the hospital, and the hospital closed down. And it's a true story. It's documented as a true story. And so this practice is so simple. It's just 4 phrases. People say the phrases in different orders, depending on who you're talking to, and it doesn't matter the exact order, but the way that I was taught is you say first, I'm sorry. Second, please forgive me. 3, I love you. 4, thank you. And you can take these phrases and heal all kinds of things. So, yes. I love you. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And so basically, you're not saying you're sorry for anything else than your own responsibility. But the idea behind this, as I perceive it, is that people in our lives are mirrors. People come into our lives, even family members, even friends. People come into our lives as mirrors. And basically, the things that can irritate us about other people are often things that are reflected that we do. And we're like, oh, that person does this thing all the time that bugs me. And usually if you take a look inside, you realize, oh, wait a minute, I kind of do that too. And then it's like, wow. And then something shifts and you're able to release it once you're aware of it. If you're in resistance or you're in denial of it, then that thing's going to stay. And that, that block between you and that person is going to stay. So if you can come inside and you can say, I'm sorry, and you're basically saying, I'm sorry. You don't have to get the ego involved, or I'm not going to say I'm sorry. He should say I'm sorry. It's not like that at all. You're basically saying you're sorry for any involvement you might have had or not had, but perhaps any time that you've done something similar, maybe even to a totally different person. But the idea is healing those wounds within yourself, healing that data within yourself and your subconscious that you may not even be aware of, that's holding you back and that's limiting you because you're stuck in resistance with it. So let's just give it a try. And we're just going to do it a couple times in our mind. And then I'm just going to leave you with the practice, and you can kind of try it, play around with it on your own and see how it works, and send it out to specific people and see how it works that way. So bring your left palm to your heart center, bring your right palm over the top, maybe take a moment, close your eyes. Let's go back into that heart space and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just vibrate within you. You don't even have to say it out loud. Just in your heart, say, I'm sorry. And you don't have to be super specific at this point. Just kind of put it out there that you're sorry for any time you might have harmed another, or any time you might have harmed yourself. Perhaps we can talk to ourselves worse than we talk to other people sometimes. And so think about how to be kind to yourself as well as being kind to others, and just say, I'm sorry. And then follow that up with, please forgive me. And really be open to that forgiveness. When you're saying I'm sorry to yourself, be open to forgive yourself and to really let it go. A lot of times, that's where we get stuck. We'll apologize, but we won't really let it go. And so without that forgiveness, we can't move forward through the block. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. And just feel that in your body, how it feels in your body to vibrate, I love you. It kind of takes you from that place of the sorry, the forgiveness is kind of like you're stepping up with each phrase. I love you. Thank you. And when we say thank you, boom, we're in gratitude. And we are thanking, whether it's ourself or another person, you're saying thank you. You're saying thank you for the lesson. Thank you for that lesson. Because the truth is that with others being mirrors of our own stuff, and with coming to awareness of how we talk to ourselves, as we go through this process of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, you're really ramping up. You're going from a place where you're hurt and you're in pain. And, the root of all suffering, according to the Buddha, is that feeling that we're separate. And we're not. And so you'll suffer if you're feeling separate. But I'm sorry, please forgive me. You're opening up to forgiveness. I love you, open heart, thank you, heart of gratitude. And all of a sudden, that's when we tap into the oneness. We go from that place of feeling separate, of feeling like no one understands, like feeling like we're hurt, feeling like hurt has been done to us. No, let it go. Come to this place of gratitude, this place of love, and just know that you can let that stuff go and you can stay. Maybe you can start to step out of the sorry part, step out of the forgiveness, and just get into I love you, thank you, and just kind of shorten it up as you work with the practice. But play around with that. Play around with, do you guys by nods or show of hands, do you feel it when you say those words in your body? How it feels to say, I'm sorry, how it feels to say, please forgive me, how it feels to say, I love you when you follow that up, and then how it feels to say thank you. You kind of feel that? Yeah. Good, good. Well, I know for me, when I first started with this practice, it took me a minute. So, also give yourself some levity with that as well. And if it doesn't resonate and you don't want to try it again, that's fine. I just wanted to share it because I think this is a really good one. This is a way that if there are people in your life, like with Thanksgiving, if there are family members or friends who maybe you've lost touch with over the years for whatever reason, or perhaps had a falling out of some sort, even lost loves, people who have come in your life and gone, these people come into our lives for a reason, and they're here to teach us a lesson. And some stay a while and some stay a short time. And sometimes the greatest lessons come from the ones that stay just a short time, and they are meant to go. And sometimes the ones that stay the longest time can be the most challenging if it's family, but they're family. And how grateful are you that you have family? And, can you get over the hump of feeling angry, or feeling hurt, or feeling resentment from past stuff, and just get to that place where you're grateful? You're grateful for that person. You allow that other person to walk their path, and that way you can walk your path, and you're both right. One doesn't have to be right and the other wrong. Get out of that duality and come more into that oneness. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for this lesson that you've given me and this gift that you've given me. And I think if you can start to look at relationships, just remember that no love is ever really lost. We talk about lost love. It's never really lost. It's still there. And what you choose to do with that is entirely up to you. Does it mean that, a lost love is going to come back in the same way? Not necessarily, but that love is still there, even with family member you might not have talked to for years. It's still there. It's just covered up. And can you, perhaps with this this practice, can you go in and peel back the layers of muck that are mucking up that love that you thought was lost? And once you uncover it and open it back up, wow, that light pops up and shines again. And you're like, that love is still there. And you have the ability to heal it within yourself. You can't necessarily heal anybody else, but you can heal yourself. And it's all by healing yourself with this process. This process is really for you. You don't have to even share with anybody that you're doing it. You can have them in mind, but do it within yourself. And it's by doing it within yourself that healing comes. And it's almost, well, not even almost, it's magical the way that it can work with other people. And then, you want to make sure you're not going to go back and try to take credit for it later. They don't have to know that you did it and that the relationship healed. It's all about the healing. It's not about the credit. And so just remember that love is still there. It's like a diamond in the rough, and you can still polish it. And once your diamonds in your heart are shining, it'll be amazing to see what you start to attract around you as far as the people that come and the relationships that come and the healing that comes.